Hello everyone, welcome back to another channel. Welcome back to another video. I'm in my living room today, it's Monday. I'm just in here to film the intro and chat to you about a few things because Craig's upstairs in the studio doing loud business calls. I'm feeling really like out of sync with making videos, and this past fortnight has just been, I've just been so immersed in what's been happening. I felt like I can't look away, but I'll talk more about that later in this video, I think, because I want to like collect my thoughts and share a few things, a few resources and things I've been learning as a white person. But if you want to know my off-the-cuff opinions about stuff, follow me on Instagram because I share a lot of things over there. Today's video, I am going to be doing something fun and grounding. So during lockdown, I've been seeing images online of people labelling wildflowers, plants that grow in the cracks of pavements, in walls, around urban areas, just labelling the weeds with their scientific names. That's just been a really interesting development in lockdown. I don't know whether councils are spraying less because of the pandemic and lockdown. Workers aren't getting out and spraying plants, so maybe people are noticing it more, or whether we're noticing the native plants in our area more just because we have been forced to slow down and stay home and we're walking around our neighbourhoods more, we're not going further afield. So I thought it might be a fun project for me to go and find out what plants are in my local area. So I have this tiny sketchbook from Hannah Muller. They kindly gifted me one of these tiny little things. It's a concertina sketchbook. Didn't really know what to fill it with for the longest time. This video has very kindly been sponsored by Skillshare. The sponsorship with Skillshare means that I can do fun, creative projects like this that aren't tied to client work. So thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. So if you aren't familiar with Skillshare, they're an online learning community for creative people. I've been using the service for over a year now and I'm still learning so much every time I log on. You can find classes on photography, videography, freelancing, illustration, graphic design, and you can learn new skills as well in areas such as embroidery, to sketchbooking, to creative writing and loads more. The class that I'm going to talk to you about today is one by YouTuber Sorel Amor. It's called Building an Authentic Channel That's Worth the Follow. Craig and I both watched this class and we found it really interesting. Sorel teaches us how to identify your why and what your value might be as a creator or future creator. She helps you find your niche within a topic, build an authentic connection with your audience, as well as teaching you how to use other social media platforms in conjunction with a YouTube channel. And then also some really good advice on scheduling. I think it's a really good one to go to if you're like me and you're feeling a little bit lost and a little bit unmotivated. You've had a YouTube channel for a while. You're kind of feeling like you want to take it in a new direction, but you want to fine tune what that direction might be. Her class really helped me do that. And especially, I think this class would be amazing for people who haven't yet started a YouTube channel, but have always wanted to. If you would like to join Skillshare, you can click the link in the description of my video, and they're very kindly offering a 2-month free trial of their premium membership. Then if you want to continue your membership after that, it's less than $10 for an annual subscription. But yeah, I'm going to finish up my coffee and then head out, I think.
Build the expectation rather high. Spare no word, explain your spirit guide. You fill the space we can't articulate with meaning we can't simulate. A chemistry you only earn in time. Quiet together, then we're doing okay. I think if we can be quiet together, then we're doing okay. And we'll need those words, but sometimes silence says all there is to say. If we can be quiet together, then we're doing okay.
So Quentin was a naughty boy.
What did you do?
I took him out when I was going to take pictures of all the weeds in the area. I had him attached to here, and then a cat came around the corner and he raced off really fast.
It pulled it.
And it pulled it out, yeah. He ran for ages as well.
Where was it? Over in the fields?
It was by a road. But luckily he ran like behind houses, not out into the road.
Oh my god. Bebsy, you can't put your life on the line like that. You mean too much to us.
Me and Quentin are here. I just ate a salad and rubbed all my makeup off. You didn't get the catsie, did you? You didn't get the catsie in the end. But you had fun chasing it, didn't you? I got some good pics. Let me show you. I actually went into a churchyard in the end to take some pictures. So what I'm going to do now is just see if I can identify them, find some pictures online, get the names of them, and I think tomorrow I will start painting them. It's now Tuesday afternoon and I have been busy working on other things, so I haven't been able to start yet on the wildflower paintings. Go in your bed. But yeah, I just wanted to sit here for a little bit and talk about Black Lives Matter, because I don't know, I just started writing loads of notes about what I wanted to say. Editing Holly here is pausing this video on a rather attractive freeze frame. I'm about to do one of those many things that white people have to stop doing, and that's make it all about me. Instead, I want to keep it short and say Black Lives Matter, Black trans lives matter. Here in the UK, we live in a society entrenched with white supremacy. Our criminal justice system is institutionally racist, and we have huge issues with race inequality and overt and covert racism for all to see. 71% of people from ethnic minorities in my country reported experiencing racial discrimination and abuse in 2019, and I'm sure that number has since gone up. And reports of hate crimes, many of those race-related, have doubled since 2013. I realised very late that it's not enough for me to be non-racist. I have to be anti-racist, and I'm doing the anti-racism work behind the scenes. It's not easy, and actually it's really alarming to see all the ways that white supremacy delusions have infiltrated my psyche. As someone involved in climate activism, it's become abundantly clear that I need to have intersectionality at the heart of everything that I do. I'm learning how oppressive systems so often overlap. And if you are someone with a particular ideology close to your heart, I urge you to zoom out further and see how all of this is connected. Bell Hooks describes the system of domination as the imperialistic, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy, and since reading this, I can't unsee it. From police brutality against black bodies, to the climate crisis in the global south, to speciesist domination in factory farms, to misogyny and femicide, the systems that allow this to continue rely on oppression and exploitation, and even reinforce each other to maintain domination. We have to break them down. When we protect the rights of marginalised people, we are creating a safer world for every single person. I've been busy compiling a list of artists and painters, in particular, black artists and painters that I wanted to share with you because I feel like it's really relevant to the audience that I have. But unfortunately, my phone has died and I was making a folder on Instagram, so I don't have that information anymore. But I am going to share with you now some creators on Instagram and on YouTube that I really am learning a lot from. On Instagram, I wanted to recommend Sonia Renee Taylor. I will leave all these links below. She's an author and a poet, and she has an amazing video on the ladder of oppression on Instagram. Also on Instagram, Aja Barber is a writer who writes about fast fashion, and Michaela Loach is a climate activist on Instagram. I also wanted to recommend one of my favourite writers ever, Annaise Heglar. She writes about climate justice, and I will leave some of my favourite articles that she's written below, and also the podcast that she works on. On YouTube, I recently found the creator called T. She has a channel called Nappy Headed Jojoba, and she makes amazing commentary videos on social and political issues. There's also Kim from For Harriet, which is a black feminist community on YouTube. Lastly, I wanted to recommend a particular video from Jo Franco. She made a recent video on allyship. Before this freeze frame zooms in any closer, there is a list of petitions in the description of this video. If you have some time, please go through and sign them all. That's it. Thanks for listening. Good morning. I'm drying my hair, so it always gets really frizzy when I do that. So ignore that. It's actually about lunchtime now, and as you can hear, I'm cooking mushrooms to go in an omelette. A vegan omelette, which is my food obsession these days. I have to have it at least a couple of times a week. It's just like a really good lunch, quite healthy. And I'll show you how I make it. A vegan omelette is made out of chickpea flour, or gram flour if you are American. So we get ours from the box store. Put 100 grams in there, You also put black salt, which is the eggy sulphury flavour. I sometimes put a bit of garlic salt and a little bit of turmeric as well. And then you put in water, and we also put in aquafaba, which is the water that chickpeas come in. I whisk it up and it becomes like light and fluffy, kind of like egg whites. I put the cheese on straight away because vegan cheese needs a long time to melt. It takes a while to cook it all the way through, so a lid really helps with the cooking process.
Oh, it's big old muds. It's big old muds.
Hello. So I'm finally ready to start painting this little sketchbook, and I'm going to do it this afternoon. Hopefully I'm having a speedy painting day and I'll be able to get it done mostly today, although it is quite detailed, so it might take a couple of days. So what I've done is I've sketched it all out and then gone over it with a watercolour and rubbed out the pencil like I always do before starting painting. And the only thing I've done slightly wrong is that I started from the back. So this is like the back cover, and it actually, I intended for it to open this way, but actually it can open either way, upside, doesn't really matter which way you view it from. But yeah, it should be a fun one to work from. And you might notice that my studio is very empty, and that is because we've been clearing it out because we're going to have it renovated soon, in a couple of weeks, when the lockdown restrictions have been adjusted. We can have workmen in the house. They're going to renovate this space finally. It was supposed to happen much earlier this year, but with everything that happened, it had to be put on hold. But yeah, there should be like a lot more windows and just a much more workable space, because a lot of the electrics in here don't work and it's not insulated properly, and the windows are really old, and there's mould in the corners and things like that. So it's going to be all renewed and fresh and have much better storage as well. So I will be documenting the process of that happening. Oh, I got new earrings as well. They came today. They're by an illustrator called Sophie Page. She works mostly in clay, and she did like an earring sale recently, and everything sold out really quickly, so I'm glad I've got these. They make me very happy. Whilst I was in the process of clearing everything out, I found this book that I thought might be relevant for me to have open whilst I'm working on this mini sketchbook, because it contains lots and lots of illustrations of British plants. I recognise a lot of them, and I think I will be painting a lot of them today as well. Like, I think that's is that a Germana Speedwell? I'll be painting one of those. I don't know the Latin names. Beautifully done. Look at it. I love it. I've actually been cutting it out. I've been very naughty to use with like collages sometimes. I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about the inspiration behind this project, because I just finished this book called How to Do Nothing by Jenny Odell. If you watched my book haul video a couple of months ago, I was excited about getting this book, and it really didn't disappoint, like, at all. It's one of the most perfectly timed reads that I've ever had in my life, and it was also quite a weird time to be reading this. So this book is about resisting the attention economy, resisting social media, resisting the news network in a way that is beneficial and in a way that keeps you engaged in society and in improving the society. So it's actually kind of like what I wasn't expecting it to be. It's like an activist book, paying attention in ways outside of the capitalist value system, so in ways that can't be monetized, basically. And she There's a lovely chapter in the book that talks about bioregionalism. Bioregionalism, I think that's how you say it. Something that lots of people in the Western world or with Western ideals have forgotten about is how to connect with our immediate surroundings. We don't know the names of any birds, we don't know the names of any plants, we don't really pay attention to the seasons, we don't eat seasonally, and yeah, we're just very detached. How does she describe it? I think she calls it like species alienation or something, like we're not in relationship with any other species that live around us. It's about Indigenous peoples and the knowledge that they have, and how very connected they are to their land, and how it's like a spiritual connection. They see themselves as part of the land and the land is part of them. We're completely detached from that way of thinking, and that is why we are in the state that we're in. We're about to exterminate ourselves through the climate crisis that will eventually catch up with us, even us in the Western world. It will get to us eventually if we don't start understanding that we are a part of the natural systems that take place on this planet. I was very inspired by this book, and I think that's part of the reason why I've wanted to take on this project and wanted to learn more about plants that are in my area and find different ways of seeing the world around me. And I find it really relaxing to go out and to pay attention to natural things around me, to pay attention to the trees and the birds and even the weeds that are growing in the pavement. It was a weird time to finish reading this book, because it's a book that is convincing you of all the different ways that the attention economy is harmful, and all of the different ways that you can disengage and have a more present life and a more fulfilling life, and not be led by the despair and the anxiety that these economies are set up to keep us in. So I don't know if you've noticed, but if you spend a lot of time on social media, you can start to feel quite anxious, you can feel quite jittery, unable to focus, and if you spend a lot of time reading the news, it will have the same effect on you probably. That leads us to not be able to focus properly. That also means that we are led by our reactions rather than having long considered conversations and taking time to learn and think and muse on things. We react very quickly on social media, and we've started to react very quickly in the real world as well. We're argumentative, we're violent, we're being stirred up and radicalised. That's very apparent. Just this weekend in London, the fascists were out and they were chanting about being racist. They were doing the Nazi salute. They've been radicalised in part because of the attention economy and because it stirred them up and made them react so irrationally to the world around them. And that also shows in the way we vote for things, I think. People are being lied to and dissuaded by the attention economy, and our attention is also being monetised by these social networks and by the media outlets we're being advertised to. We're making billionaires richer, the billionaires that own these sites. These sites are becoming richer because we are directing all of our attention to their businesses. So yeah, I don't know why I just went on that tangent talking about this book, but I just feel like the reason I'm doing this little project now is in a big part because of this book. So read it, and if you've read it, I want to talk to you about it, because it's one of the best books I've ever read, I think. And I'm hoping that she's currently writing another one. I think I'm going to listen to The Myth of Race, the Troubling Persistence of an Unscientific Idea. It's about eugenics and like just debunking a lot of the ideology around eugenics. So I think it's quite an important one at this moment in time to be educating myself on. I don't know whether it's too intelligent for me because I've never read a book on eugenics before. Also, I wanted to show you my flowers today because the peonies are starting to come out. I don't know why they're all coming out at different stages. Like this one's in full bloom right now, this one's getting there, and this one's still asleep.
Fairly determined by a single genetic factor. This type of distribution of a biological trait is referred to as a climb. For example, skin color is related to the amount of solar radiation, and dark skin is found in Africa, India, and Australia.
And here is the finished sketchbook with all of the plants labelled and the moth. I put these two together because apparently these cinnabar moths really like to eat this ragwort, and it's where they lay all their eggs and all the caterpillars come from. I'm really happy with how this came out. It's exactly how I wanted it to look, which is quite rare for me. So I'm really happy with this, and gonna keep it in my pocket when I'm going out walking to try and remember the names of everything. And maybe in time I will turn it over and do the other side and identify more plants. And maybe more insects too. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope you are inspired to learn more about the native plants and species that live in your area. And I'll see you again for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye!